Today, I'd like to talk about how to end relationships that no longer add value to your life. Before we get started, I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time for watching. So let's get started. Part 1. Why ending something is so hard. We wired to hold on. Humans are social creatures, and deep down, we are often believe the more connections we keep, the safer we are. That's why ending friendships or relationships can feel like a small death, even when the bond is gone sour. But here's the truth, not all endings are bad. Some are the healthiest choice you can make. The problem is we've been taught to see endings as failures. You hear people say like, but you known each other for years. You can't just give up. Every relationship has its ups and downs. Yes, all that can be true, but there is a difference between weathering the storm together and living in a hurricane that never stops. Part 2. The subtle signs it's time to reevaluate your relationships. A friendship or relationship doesn't usually end overnight. It erodes away slowly. A few ignored boundaries here, a couple of trust cracks there, small resentments swept under the rug until you're tripping over the whole pile. 1. Trust is gone and not coming back. You can survive mistakes. You can even survive betrayal if both people are committed to rebuilding. But trust is something but if trust is permanently broken, your relationship becomes a performance. You're pretending to be okay when you're not, and pretending gets exhausting over time. 2. You no longer feel safe to be yourself. If you filter everything you say to avoid judgment, ridicule, or drama, that's not safety. That is survival. A healthy connection should make you feel more, not less. 3. You feel drained after spending time together. Good friendships and relationships should leave you feeling lighter, not heavier. Every conversation should feels like an emotional heavy lifting, or you leave with a knot in your chest. That is your body telling you something is wrong. 4. They only show up when they need something. If your value to them is based on what they can provide, money, rides, emotional support, connections, but they vanish when you're the one in need, that's not mutual care, that's just convenience to them. 5. You outgrown each other's values. People change. Sometimes changes are in sync, other times they drift apart. If you're now living in a completely different world, if you are now living in completely different worlds in terms of priorities, morals, lifestyle, forcing closeness can feel fake. Part 3. The difference between a rough patch and the end. Here is where people get stuck. Every relationship has bad weeks, even bad months. The real question is this a place or is this a new normal? A rough patch has clear cause, stress, illness, a big life change, comes with shared desires to fix things, shows signs of improvement over time. An ending feels stuck in the same negative loop no matter what you try. Involves one-sided effort, you're the only one fighting for it. Leaves you feeling smaller, lonelier, or more resentful as time passes. Part 4. The emotional red flags. Sometimes the signs aren't in actions, but they're in your feelings. You dread seeing them, even if you used to look forward to it. You find yourself rehearsing what you say to avoid arguments with them. You feel relief when plans get canceled. You feel like you're walking on eggshells every time you're around them. These aren't little things to brush aside. They're your emotional alarms setting off. 5. The cost of staying. A lot of people don't end unhealthy friendships or relationships because they're focused only on the cost of leaving. The sadness, the awkwardness, the void. But there's another cost no one talks about, the cost of staying. The cost of staying might be losing more and more of your self-esteem, spending years stuck in a dynamic that will never get better, missing out on healthy connections because this one is taking up your emotional bandwidth. You only have so much time and energy in this life. Spending it on the wrong people means you have less time for the right ones. Part 6. How you end it without destroying yourself. There's no perfect way to end something. It will hurt for them, for you, and sometimes for the people around you. But you can do it with clarity and respect. Step 1. Get honest with yourself first. Write down the reasons you feel this needs to end. That way, when doubt creeps in later, you have a clear record of why you made that decision. Step 2. Don't end it in hate in the heat of the moment. It is tempting to cut ties in a burst of anger, but it often leaves you with regret or unfinished conversations. Wait until you can speak calm rather than in rage. Step 3. Choose the right format. If it's a close friend or partner, face-to-face is always the best. If someone's toxic or unsafe, distance communication, text, email might be necessary. Step 4. Be direct but not cruel. Focus on your needs and your feelings, not largely listing their flaws. A sample. I feel we're growing apart. I don't think this friendship is healthy anymore. Instead of saying you're selfish and you've been a bad friend for years now. Step 5. Accept the fallout. They might get angry. They might try to twist the story. They might try to guilt you in coming back in the friendship or the relationship. That's not a sign you made the wrong choice. It is often proof that you made the right one. Part 7. Handling the guilt. Guilt is normal. You cared about this person. You shared memories. Part of you wishes it could have gone on, things that could went differently. But remind yourself, ending something doesn't erase the good times. It just acknowledges that the good times aren't enough to outweigh the damage now. If you find yourself questioning the decision, ask yourself, am I missing them or am I missing who I hoped they could have been? If I went back, would things actually be different, or would they just go back to the same loop? Part 8. Making space for the new. When you close one chapter, it's tempting to fill the gap immediately. New friends, new partners, constant distractions. But give yourself some breathing room. Let the silence sit for a while. Let yourself relearn what life feels like without that person's influence. You might be surprised how much lighter you feel. You might rediscover parts of yourself you haven't seen in years. So my final thought. Not every relationship is meant to last a lifetime. Some are meant to be teachers, showing you what you will and won't accept. Some are meant as stepping stones, helping you reach stronger versions of yourself. You don't owe anyone permanent space in your life just because they once mattered. And if you don't need permission to protect your peace. So with that, I'd like to end this video, and I'd like to thank everybody for watching. If you have any questions or comments down below, please leave them down below. And I thank you for your time, and I'll see you on the next video.